Moving to file item 54, AB 2656. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2656 by Assemblymember O'Donnell, an act relating to pupils.
Mr. O'Donnell, you may open.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and members. Today I am pleased to present AB 2656, which will help foster youth and former foster youth attain their educational and ultimately their educational goals as well. Foster youth and former foster youth face issues and circumstances that make graduating from high school challenging and even impossible for some. Only 50% of foster youth in the United States earn a high school diploma. The California High School Proficiency Exam is an alternate path to achieving educational success for foster and former foster youth and even others. AB 2656 prohibits a fee from being charged to foster youth and former foster youth for taking the high school proficiency exam. I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote, aye 62, no 0. Measure passes. Pass and retain on file item 55. File item 56 is ACR 131 by Mr. Patterson. The clerk will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 131 by Assemblymember Patterson and others relative to professions and vocations.
Mr. Patterson, you may open.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Mr. Speaker, members, ACR 131, which encourages the Department of Consumer Affairs to create a more equitable licensing fee structure for licensed professionals. Current regulations can be a bit difficult. Newly licensed professionals run the risk of having their license renewed shortly after they've had it given to them in the first place because the license renewals come on birthday rather than on calendar. We passed a very, very good bill unanimously off this floor that rationalized this and prorated these fees. However, the governor did veto it. And in his veto message, he said that what he wanted to do was make a broader, more comprehensive approach to this through all of the departments where there were fees. And this ACR just simply encourages the governor with respect to the vote that we took, encourages the governor to do the kinds of things that he said in his veto message. We think it sends a message of the intent of the legislature as a whole body and reinforces that these should be prorated rather than on their births. It's going to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars to people who are just getting their license, just getting started in their job and in their careers. So I ask for your support and ask for the first roll to be open for co-authors. Thank you.
Mr. Patterson is asking that the first roll be open for co-authors on the resolution. Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors. Co-authors on the resolution. Co-authors on ACR 131. There are 64 co-authors added. We will take a roll call vote on the item. Clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote, ayes 64, noes 1. The resolution is adopted. Passing temporarily on file item 57. That moves us to file item 58. That's AB 1809 by Ms. Lopez. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1809 by Assemblymember Lopez and others, an act relating to CalWorks.
Ms. Lopez, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Today I'm pleased to present AB 1809, which provide remove barriers for saving money for out-of-state poor families with children. This bill ensures that those families are stable financially after they leave CalWorks. AB 1809 9 will remove the test and will be continued on full income working requirements for the CalWORKS program. I respectfully ask for your vote.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Mr. Stone, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise in support of this bill. I think this is a very substantial bill for us here in California. We have the highest poverty rate in the nation under the supplemental poverty measure because of how difficult it is to be able to provide some of the benefits under the CalWORKS program. This bill will streamline the ability for folks to come into the program, which is, reminds you, California's welfare to work. It's important that we bring as many people into these level of services and the obligations under CalWORKS as possible. I ask for your aye votes.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Mr. Gibson, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise in support of AB 1809 and believe that this measure will help the most vulnerable families that's on the borderline of escaping poverty and transitioning them to long-term independence. By removing the asset test, it is an important step to ensure that families on public assistance receive the support they need, and it is most important that we pass this measure. I want to thank the gentlewoman from the San Fernando Valley for bringing this before us today and request for an aye vote on 1809.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, California has one-eighth of the U.S. population lives in our state. However, California takes 1/3 of the welfare benefits in this country. This bill only makes it worse, and it makes it dramatically and egregiously worse. This bill would result in individuals with significant assets applying for and receiving government benefits. Simply put, one of the purposes of this bill is to remove the structural realities and social stigmas associated with CalWORKS. However, government benefits should remain the last resort for those who need them. This is our safety net. This bill would result in an unwarranted increase in the use and abuse of public benefits by those with substantial benefits. by those with substantial assets. Simply put, CalWORKS is a last resort, not a first resort for people with significant assets. I urge no vote.
All debate having ceased on the item, Ms. Lopez, you may close.
Thank you for my college and that support and against comments. I just wanted closing by saying, with this bill, it will prevent to have more families in the homeless population. So I really respectfully to ask you for your aye vote.
Clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 42, noes 21. The measure passes. We are passing temporarily on file item 59. File item 60, AB 2125. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2125 by Assemblymember David Chu and others, an action relating to nail salons.
Mr. Chu, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a bill to address the tremendous health challenges in our state's nail salons. Every day, nail salon workers handle products including this so-called toxic trio of formaldehyde, toluene, and dibutylphthalate, chemicals that are linked to cancer, allergies, respiratory and neurological damage, reproductive harm. In our state, it is estimated there are over 125,000 nail salon workers that work in over 50,000 nail salons in an $8 billion industry. 80% of these workers are Asian immigrants, often with limited English skills, and over half are women of reproductive age. When I served on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, to address nail salon safety, we considered a variety of approaches. Rather than using a stick approach, we decided to use a carrot and an incentive approach with the industry. Our city designates nail salons that agree to toxic-free standards as healthy nail salons who receive community and marketing recognition, as we created the first healthy nail salon recognition program in the country. Today, there are several dozen healthy nail salons that have been designated in my city, Alameda, San Mateo, Santa Clara counties, and the city of Santa Monica. This bill, to promote more healthy nail salons, would involve the Department of Public Health that would create guidelines for cities and counties to voluntarily implement these sorts of recognition programs and to conduct public awareness campaigns for nail salon owners, consumers, and local governments. There shouldn't be a hidden cost to polish nails. As our city's nail salon programs say, pretty shouldn't stink. I want to thank the overwhelming bipartisan support through 3 committees and respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 66, noes 3. The measure passes. File item 61 is AB 2133. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2133 by Assembly Member Kansan Chu, an act relating to child care and development.
Mr. Kansan Chu, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise to introduce AB 2133, which seeks to provide consistent administrative remedies for child care providers who wish to appeal payment discrepancies with the Alternative Payment Program. I took amendments in the Appropriation Committee that make the bill more efficient by utilizing an existing process established by the California Department of Education, referred to as the Uniform Complaint Process. AB 2133 is needed to ensure that providers have a fair and consistent process that will increase the accuracy of child care payment distribution in California's vast early education system. This bill received no opposition and will benefit families statewide. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 64, no 0. Measure passes. Members, I'm prepared to lift the call on file item 26. That's AB 2724 by Mr. Gatto. Clerk will post. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 44, noes 8. Measure passes. Members, we are at file item 62, AB 2139 by Mr. Williams. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2139 by Assemblymember Williams and others, an act relating to ocean resources.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Speaker, members, this bill addresses a growing threat to our coast and ocean environments, ocean acidification. Unfortunately, there is not enough data available to determine the extent to which this process will impact our ecosystems and, importantly, the economic resources that so many Californians rely on. So this bill will direct the Ocean Protection Council to address the challenge that ocean acidification represents to the health and resilience of our ocean and coastal ecosystems and specify areas of study for the Council to undertake in order to increase our understanding of ocean acidification and how it will impact California. We have recently seen the drastic impacts that changing ocean conditions can have on our economy and our enjoyment of our unique marine resources. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Seeing no discussion on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 44, noes 14. Measure passes. We are passing temporarily on file item 63. Moving to file item 64. It's AB 2183 by Mr. Gatto. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2183 by Assemblymember Gatto, an act relating to post-secondary education.
Mr. Gatto.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Our state employees do terrific work, and they're often maligned for it, but the fact remains that they remain the cheapest option for the states during this budgetary time and also during budget crises. AB 2183 is an important measure that will ensure that the dollars we spend in our higher education system, that's the California State University system, that when they consider entering into so-called personal service contracts for things that a state employee or an existing Cal State employee can do anyway, that they have to go through a certain process. They have to identify the cost savings, they have to conduct a public competitive bidding process, and that these contracts don't happen in the dark of night. This is a good bill that I think is fiscally responsible and everybody can get behind, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 42, noes 22. Measure passes. File item 65, AB 2197. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2197 by Assemblymember Christina Garcia, an act relating to unemployment insurance, making an appropriation therefore.
Ms. Garcia.
Good morning, Member Speaker. Assembly Bill 2197 would allow for classified school employees to be eligible for unemployment insurance. Classified school employees are essential to our public schools by making sure our campuses are safe and clean for our children. Despite the hard work that classified school employees provide, many struggle to support their families with the incomes that are often inadequate. While certified school employees such as administrators, teachers, librarians, and nurses earn middle-class incomes and benefits that can last through the summer breaks, classified employees do not. Under federal law, states have the choice to opt in to provide these benefits to classified employees. In California, the state has opted to deny these benefits to classified employees. AB 2197 allows for a grace period by phasing in available benefits from 2 to 8 weeks over a 4-year period. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this measure. Let me just paint the picture for you. AB 2197 will give unemployment benefits to employees that are not unemployed. So on the floor this week, we're expanding welfare benefits, health insurance coverage, other taxpayer support entitlement programs to non-citizens of California or even the United States. And now we are being asked to expand unemployment payments to people that already have jobs and guaranteed pensions. Ultimately, the school districts will have an increase in their unemployment payroll tax rate, obviously, if this bill passes. And if we strap more costs on school districts, that means that they're putting less money toward what they're there for in the first place, which is educating future generations of California. This bill makes no sense. It makes no sense in California. It makes no sense in any jurisdiction. I ask for a no vote. Let's not give unemployment benefits to our employees that are employed.
All debate having ceased, Ms. Garcia, you may close.
Thank you. The reality is that these employees are employed for 9 months out of the year, and during the summer they go without a paycheck. During the 9 months, most of these employees are in charge of keeping our schools safe and clean and are only earning minimum wage. It's hard enough to pay your monthly bills on minimum wage. Now think about finding a way to stretch that out for 3 extra months. These employees are in a weird spot, the way we've classified them, but they're unemployed. And the same way we protect other folks who have temporary windows on a regular basis, we need to provide for these folks to have a safety net. We talk about wanting to attack homelessness. 70% of homeless people are folks that are temporarily out of work. These are folks who are vulnerable to homelessness. These families need a better safety net. And let's be clear that this is only a small safety net. Giving them $494 a month is not going to solve their problem, but only help them get along a little bit better. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. With that, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 45, noes 20. The measure passes. File item 66 is AB 2222. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2222 by Assemblymember Holden and others, enacting into gases.
Mr. Holden, you may open.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Assembly Bill 2222 will create a state incentive program to provide low or no-cost transit passes to low-income students in California. Studies suggest that high school and college students are one of the largest drive-alone population groups in our state. Yet students are also one of the demographic groups least able to afford the cost of owning, maintaining, and refueling cars, especially when you include the cost of tuition, books, and other expenses. AB 2222 builds on new transit pass program being implemented across California and enjoys support from school districts and transit agencies from Northern California to Southern. This bill contains strong performance guidelines and sets funding floors to ensure every part of the state will see a benefit. This measure has received bipartisan support all spring, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 58, noes 3. Measure passes. Passing temporarily on file item 67. File item 68 is AB 2251 by Mr. Stone. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2251 by Assemblymember Mark Stone and others, enacting to student loan servicers.
Mr. Stone, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Student loan debt in this country is the second highest amount of debt behind home ownership and mortgages. $1.2 trillion in student debt. In California, it's $1.2 billion. And yet, the student loan servicers have very little oversight regulation. There's no real licensing. What this bill does is propose to license those servicers, not the banks, not the folks who necessarily give out the loans. They are already regulated well enough, but the servicers are not. Sets up a program with the Department of Business Oversight to license and manage those servicers so that our students, even though they're still getting this crushing debt, have the opportunity to understand what the loan terms are, what they're getting into. This increases disclosure requirements and make sure that our students have the best opportunity to know what faces them and then be able to modify those loans as appropriate as they enter into the workforce and be able to mitigate some of the crushing debt that they're coming out of school with. It's an important bill, and I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 45, noes 17. The measure passes. We're going to pass temporarily on file item 69.